He's like a sneaky little ninja. Look at him. He wasn't here 1 minute and then he's here the next.
He's just laying in wait, that's all. Like a hunter does. Waiting around that corner to get shoulder charged by that Titan.
No, that would have made more sense if you'd have come in after him and just gone whoosh.
Well, maybe next week. I've never
Loud noises!
You roboted right out there, Respawn robot.
Yeah, you did.
Damn it.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more. So, what makes us different, you may ask? Well, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news and information and opinions. We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. Now, on with the show.
Welcome back to Fan Noise this week. Though in all seriousness, can you hear the fan noise in my office, or do you just hear my lovely, soothing, dulcet tones?
There is a fan when you're speaking, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, I mean, I have the overhead fan off and the other fan off because there's no vent in this room and it's already 80 degrees this morning. I'll turn the other one off when we start recording because you don't need more noise to contend with.
Oh, more noise is amazing. Love loads of noise.
Loads of noise, and I've also got a full plate of breakfast here I'm going to eat during the show, and
okay, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And I just haven't looked at anything this week. I don't even know how Bungie works, so
See, I always rely on you for my backup, and now I've got to rely on the hunter that probably hasn't done anything, hasn't been anywhere, hasn't seen anything apart from the inside of a plane.
I've played some game this week, but
that's good.
Yeah, I even before I saw the note about, hey, Crucible sucks now, I was like, I was sort of going to play Crucible this week anyway, just to sort of get it's something easy and dumb I can jump into, and I can just play the 3 games, get my reward, and go on about life.
So you did your homework as requested. That's good.
I did.
I did my homework.
And am I incorrect in that Xur has brought Syntheseps for the second time in 3 weeks to sell?
I can't remember.
Because I do believe Xur is selling Syntheseps again this week. And I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago he also brought the Syntheseps. So I wonder what Bungie is trying to tell us. Either
just
A,
check
Xur's broken.
Old Houndish videos and you'll find out.
Right?
Also, I have played the game this week, just so you know.
Okay.
Stupid face.
Your stupid face.
You're a stupid face. They call me a stupid face. You're a stupid face. A stupid face.
I suppose someone's got to.
So, how have you guys been this week?
Working. A lot of traveling.
I was
Where you been this week?
What did I do this week?
Where
have you been this week?
Oh, I was in Tennessee and St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parody, you were at home, but you were devastated by.
I was devastated. I was devastated to learn that I had already lived through and worked Friday, but there was a second Friday after that one.
Right. Okay. That can become a problem.
Explain yourself, fool.
Yeah, I wished a couple of people have a nice, have a good weekend, and then got off work, and my wife informed me it was only Thursday, and it was not in fact Friday, even though it felt like.
Did they have the day off though? The Friday?
No, no one did. It was just a normal day.
They didn't correct you.
No one corrected me. No one gave me a weird look or side eye or anything. Just okay.
Those are the same people that will see that you have something in your teeth and not tell you anything. It's like the worst kind of people,
Days are
I
hard.
hate those people.
Okay, I'm not crazy. So yeah, this week, Xur has sold the Syntheseps. On the week of June 12th, he has also sold the Syntheseps. So I'm calling it Season of the Syntheseps. Punch everything. That's just what it is.
What was the stat
I need
roll
to make a correction. Hold on. Wait. We've overlooked something important.
Okay.
The fact that you were right about Xur selling the Syntheseps right should not be a metric for whether or not you are crazy. Okay?
There's plenty of other metrics, and they all point to crazy. I'm not
Exactly.
disputing any of this.
That's what I'm getting at. You're like, I'm not crazy. I need to stop you there.
Clearly am crazy.
Right? But anyway, continue.
As I'm not paying you, we might as well just get on with the show.
As I'm not paying you?
So, welcome to the show. I am Nintendomon, your most British of hosts, joined by the trash-talking, party-popping Parody. And then there's Respawn, our resident hunter from the swamps of Florida. Welcome, boys.
Excuse me?
Good morning.
What up?
So, well done, boys. Pat on the back. We actually managed to guess the Flashpoint last week.
Yo! What?
Out of
I don't believe it.
5 or 6 destinations, and we narrowed it down to the fact that it'd been on all the other ones beforehand. We got the right one. So now we're back to the point of we don't have a Flashpoint for next week. So we're going to have to guess again. So I'm going to say Titan because I want to get in there first because I think everything's swapping over to Titan. But then maybe because Iron Banner's returning to the Crucible, it's not going to be a Titan week next week. Maybe it's still going to be another IO week for the events and stuff. I don't know. Because apparently we've still got to continue fighting the Taken in the Cradle. We got
Always.
yeah. Like the fire pits of the Iron Banner and extra Valor. So don't forget your extra Valor. Double during the week, triple at the weekends. I'm guessing they haven't written it down here, but that's the norm. And Notchris is the Nightfall boss in the Nightfall Ordeal for the Strange Terrain.
Marvelous.
So where would you like to guess this week? Would you like to side with me on Titan?
I'm gonna keep going with Titan because it's gonna go away. It's gotta happen eventually.
But do you think this week we're going to shift from IO to Titan with the pyramid events that are happening, the public events? It's got to happen at some point. Or maybe we're going to do a whole month.
Pyramid events?
Do you think it's going to be a whole month on IO and then another whole month on Titan? And then I'm sure that we saw in some of the cutscenes that it happens on Mars as well.
There is no Mars. Mars has been going away.
Oh, it might even happen on Mercury. I don't know. I know nothing.
I'm going to say EDZ, because why not?
Fair enough. You know that these imaginary points are going nowhere. Nobody's actually won anything. I'd point that out now because, further on down the line, I don't want Respawn going, I wasn't told. So I'm going to tell him every week until it actually sticks.
Nor are we even keeping track of where the flashpoints were and what we guessed. And
Well, we could if we went back and listened and actually tracked it, but we don't do that. We're not that good. We're not that.
It takes the fun out of it if you do that, though. That's no fun.
The game is made up, and the points do not matter.
The points matter. Sorry.
No, the only points that mattered, you didn't show up for.
Excuse me, I've been here for everything, bruh.
Guardian Games?
What I'm saying. I was there for those too. I just didn't put a whole lot of medals in.
There, in the stands, watching the Titans bank medals like there's no tomorrow. That's all.
Yeah.
Everyone has a role to play. Sometimes I roll a spectator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shall we get into this week at Bungie for the week of June 25th, 2020?
No. I think we should. No, why not?
I don't know.
You're just opposed to everything.
A little bit.
Contrarian spawn. Very good. So Cosmo has written our lovely TWAB for us this week, and because we decided as a show this has already been discussed 6 ways to Sunday, all I'm going to say is there's a code of conduct, there are standards in the game, and how you should treat other people. Obey the code of conduct, obey the standards, don't be a... That's all we're going to say about that. Don't be a respawn. Be a parody and a night demon. Don't be a respawn.
Excuse me?
I'm just saying, two of us have never been banned. One of us has been banned. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there.
I was banned once.
But really, I just had to take this opportunity, Respawn, to strike while the iron's hot. Because it's time for harmony among players and a time for honorable battles. Because Lord Saladin is bringing the Iron Banner back.
He's totally not. Don't listen to him. It's a trap.
He totally is.
He's really not, though.
As Night Demon has already told us, bonus valor will be enabled throughout the week and probably even more on the weekend.
Speaking of which, why the hell did they never answer why is it valor? Everything else about it is freaking competitive except the actual thing that matters.
Well, maybe if you ask them, they'll tell you.
We have many times.
Well, until then, it's still valor. So Iron Banner's back. Tuesday reset, June 30th. Tuesday reset, July 7th. It's the Iron Banner. It works how it works. Light level is enabled, so be prepared to be destroyed by people that are 10,000 light, because that's how the game works. We're getting a couple of reprised weapons.
We are, yes. And these are the Forward Path, which is a 600 RPM auto rifle, so one of the best ones out there at the moment, and the Fool's Remedy, which is an automatic sidearm. Who doesn't love an automatic sidearm? Just hold the trigger and that's it, they're dead. That's if you can hit them, of course.
Well, you weaken them with the auto rifle, and if you have to reload, just switch to your sidearm. Just keep holding the button down. Works out great.
And with this, we have the two new perks there.
What he said. Did you guys just fade out or y'all messing with me? Okay, there you go.
What are you piping in for?
Y'all just went completely dead. I don't know if y'all are messing with me or what, but
I think you're messing with you because our audio has been fine up till now, and then you chime in periodically screaming because I think you've tweaked your settings to the point where you just get nothing now. On our end, when you scream, it absolutely mutes you out or dims you.
No, but I didn't scream. No, y'all were just talking.
Not that time.
And then that was it. Y'all were just gone. I'm like,
Did you plug your Ethernet cable into the laptop?
No, I don't. No.
Don't know. Fine on my end. Okay. I can hear Night Demon, so.
Okay.
Shall we continue? So we have some returning weapons, I guess, that are going to be available for Season of Arrival Max Infusion caps. So this is 1360, I believe. So this is the Shining Sphere rocket launcher, the Swarm of the Raven grenade launcher. So this is the one where you can get spike grenades on, which was really good for the last year and a half, I guess, that you can reacquire with a higher power level. And we've spoken about that at length in the last week and a bit on our podcast about reacquiring weapons that we already have god rolls of. Yep. Talon of the Eagle, which is the scout rifle. Bite of the Fox, which is the sniper rifle, which is a kinetic one. Orwin's Mole, which is a secondary grenade launcher. And Criminal's Dagger, hand cannon. And with the Forward Path and the Fool's Remedy, they'll also be updating us with 2 additional perks specific to the Iron Banner weapons. Here's a look at what they do. Not that we actually get to see what they do, it's just in words on the TWAB. So Iron Grip improves weapon stability at the cost of reload. And Iron Gaze, which improves the weapon targeting acquisition at the cost of range. Now, Fallout Plays did a really interesting video. It was about a week and a half ago, and I haven't included it until I'll do it this week, because he goes over on the perk set from what they can see in light.gg is that it's something like you'll get a bump of plus 20 in stability, but it'll be minus 30 in reload speed. And the same with target acquisition. You get a really significant bump in the target acquisition, but the cost of the range really bumps you down by 20 range. So he doesn't know whether that was just they put that in the database just as a place marker, or those are the actual perk sets. How much of a reduction are you going to get of range to improve your target acquisition, and how much reload speed are you going to then be able to negate with mods and different things to improve your weapon stability. So until we actually get the weapons and see what they do, and do these weapon perks then a drop on the original weapons that we're getting back, like the Shining Sphere, the Swarm of the Raven, etc., etc.? It's going to be interesting.
Well, Swarm of the Raven's already outdated because of the type of grenade launcher it is. Those were nerfed. What's the 140s, or what's the rate of fire of those again?
I can't remember.
Because that was already nerfed, which is why the I'm trying to look it up right now. The new one that everybody's been using, myself included, the one with clown cartridge and spike grenades, the something 4 grenade launcher. It's a different archetype, and that's why everybody's using that, is because that archetype wasn't nerfed. And so yeah.
So it looks like, the way this reads is, they just say the forward path of the Fool's Remedy will be updated to have the additional perks. They don't say anything else will. I'm just excited to have an auto rifle that gives me more stability at the cost of reload speed. Great, wonderful, I'm in.
Hey.
Give me another laser beam.
Yeah, give me an acting war rig. I don't need to reload.
Yeah, reloading breaks my immersion. I don't believe in it. It's against everything I stand for. And if I can make that weapon even more stable and murder people, what's not to love?
So the grenade launcher you were talking about is the Interference 4, and that's the one that's the new Monarchy red one that's now dropping. Is that right? And that's 120 rounds per minute.
What the?
What? What's the matter?
Y'all went quiet again. No, let me tweak my output. Hold on. Yeah, no, y'all were just...
Yeah, he's broken something on his end. I think his new fancy NVIDIA whatever he was using is now muted all incoming audio sources. Everything is being picked up as noise. It's like the world is just too noisy. You need peace. You need to find calm and centering in your life.
No, there was a new setting I've never seen before. Speakers, Steam streaming microphone and Steam streaming speakers.
If you've never seen it before, never click on it, because it always breaks things.
I didn't click on it. No, it was just there just now, and I'm just like, what the hell?
Well, unclick it then. If it's never been there before,
you obviously
didn't need it before.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. You didn't need it.
Have you tried turning it off and on?
So I will reiterate for you, Respawn. So it's the Interference 4, which is the new Monarchy grenade launcher that you were talking about, which is 120 RPM. And the Swarm of the Raven, which was 150 RPM.
There you
go. But the Swarm of the Raven was the rapid fire frame, whereas the Interference is an adaptive frame. And the adaptive frames are well-rounded grip, reliable, and sturdy. But with the Interference, you can get that full court, so it increases the detonation damage as the projectile travels further and faster before exploding. And Swarm of the Raven at the time could just roll with the spike grenades. But again, you could get field prep on both. So, like I keep saying, swings and roundabouts. Potato, potato.
Keep everything in your vault, because you never know when you're going to need it, he says.
Yes,
right.
Especially when you're on a podcast and you have to explain things really quickly and you go, oh, there it is. It's sitting next to that one.
Yeah. No, I always keep all my weapons. I never keep all the armor. That's where you're different. Is you like to keep all the armor too.
I keep everything.
Exactly.
Although saying that, I have done really well in the last week. I've managed to clear out 30 spaces using the fabulous function from the Destiny Item Manager.
Was it all sparrows?
Well, I will link in the show notes. No, sparrows actually, when I first had to clear it out back in the beginning of Destiny 2, I cleared out all the sparrows because it was then going to collections. And I could actually breathe a sigh of relief thinking, oh, thank God, I've saved all these sparrows, these ghosts and things. They're now in a collection so I can pull them back out from. Do you know how many I've ever pulled back out? None. But I can go and look at them. I can go and look at them as much as I like.
See, my thing with the sparrows, the reason I said that is because I have a ton of legendary sparrows inside my inventory. But they're all speed 160, right? Because you know how they normally drop 150?
Yeah.
These are all speed 160s. And I'm like, well, it's a pain to get another 160, so I'm going to just hang on to these. Even the god-awful ugly ones that are ugly in color, shape, size, everything. I still have those because they're 160s.
Just get rid of them. Yeah, I managed to clear down 30 spaces with the app, the Destiny Item Manager app, telling me what's actually going to be more viable past like September. So yeah, hopefully it'll work out. With I got rid of a lot of armor that I was kind of holding on to. They had high stat rolls, but then I've got now comparable rolls that are going to last for the next year. So
there you go.
yes.
So really, it sounds like you just need some sort of display case you can build in the game, like to display sparrows or to display different things. You can like put the emblems up on a nice little like trophy case. You can go and maybe when you're in the ship and just stare at them and enjoy them.
Maybe
that's what Destiny needs to give you, just a way to enjoy all of your accomplishments and achievements, not to use, but just to look admiringly upon. That's all.
So getting back to the Iron Banner, because I love a bit of Iron Banner, and I can't wait for next week. The armor set that's going to be reprised is the Iron Fellowship set, and we actually do get to have a look at what it looks like, and it looks Iron Bannery. Yes.
Oh, well.
That was the Seashell King set, because they've changed the Titan helmet, because it used to be a Seashell King. Now you're a little more sleek looking, but the rest of the armor still has that, like, the lines on it. Just reminds me of being a giant seashell. I almost like it less. That it looks a little less absurd, but the hunter has a little, I don't know, like a little crown. Hunter is back there being like, what's going on? I have no thoughts on this Titan one, though. It just looks, it's not overly absurd. That's all I can give it.
It does look pretty sleek as far as Titans go, though. I mean, that's some Titan armor I can get behind. But I just want to point out that the hunter is, in fact, wearing a crown.
My friend, you're always behind the Titan.
It's the safest place to be.
It is, especially for you hunters.
No, that's not right.
Can't charge you from behind.
Actually?
Not at the moment. You wait till we get a new exotic that says you can backtrack into whoever's behind you.
No. I've seen people like running in front of me on mouse and keyboard, and then I guess their DPI was set to like, moving through time, right? Because they'll be running in front of me, away from me, and then all of a sudden I'm being shoulder charged. I'm like,
Osiris as a Titan. He can move through space and time and appear behind you.
I'm so mad about that, man. So mad.
Also, with Iron Banner returning, we always get a new shader or a couple of good shaders. So it's normally the one that they show on the set in the picture, which looks like gold and a dark jaded green colour. So that looks interesting. We're also getting another new emblem for the Iron Banner. But as we know, I won't be taking off my other Iron Banner emblem.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this Iron Burden emblem that was around.
No, I'm not familiar. You should tell us more.
In Iron Banner back. Oh God, we're going back quite a while now. You had to
back in the days of yore.
Yeah, when you had the veteran players, you had to have an Iron Burden consumable on you, and it dropped your light by I believe it was like 50 light, and you really had to grind it, and you had to get 2,500 kills whilst under the influence of an Iron Burden. There were also,
why on earth would anybody ever do that?
And it actually dropped your power level by 100. It dropped your power level 100 down in a light-enabled activity.
No, that's not a thing. You're just making stuff up.
I now have an emblem to show off for it that can show the tracking stat on it now.
Hacks.
Yeah, which you will not be replacing with this new one because it's
no,
it's there. It's green. It's gold. It's got a little shape on it, but no,
it's meant to be a wolf, I guess.
I guess. I mean, a very abstract wolf. Like the colors are there, but yeah, compared to the ones they put out in the past, like this is not going to take the top spot. No.
You think?
No. But she also wants to remind you that skill-based matchmaking has been disabled, so it's all connection-based. So we're going to see how this turns out with all connection-based, light level enabled game type.
Yeah.
Because isn't all the competitive stuff still skill-based? Skill-based and in Trials cases card-based. So this is sort of a unique one-off in it's light level enabled and connection-based.
Yeah, it's light level and just connection now.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because I know we've had some questions about people going, "Hey, I've been in the Crucible since they made this change, and it's kind of rough now." That we'll get to in a bit.
Well, no, maybe we should just go into it now. So
maybe we could.
We had an email from Kay Jones. It says, "Hello, how are you guys? I enjoy your podcast a lot. What are your thoughts on the way that Crucible is matched in just now?" He says he's pretty bad at it, but used to enjoy it, but now finds it soul-destroying and close to tears when playing. So he's now lost all the confidence in playing it anymore. So, I mean, I've responded and explained the way that the game's set up at the moment. It is Crucible, for me, I haven't actually been in there. I mean, I played, I think it was the first week, and did some of the bounties and grinded it before they changed it, taken out the skill-based matchmaking. And I'd seen a lot of the YouTubers and a lot of podcasts discuss skill-based matchmaking and hadn't really kind of looked into it until I got this email. So I said to you guys, let's do a bit of homework this week. We'll go into the Crucible and we'll have a test and see what we think, and responded as usual, no. But Parody and I actually took it upon ourselves to go in and test a bit of matchmaking. Parody, did you want to discuss how you found it this week?
Sure. So I went in. Let me find a voice first. Yeah. So I went in this week and I played 4 matches of Supremacy and 4 or 5 matches of Control, because that got me the 2 playlists I needed, and I figured it would just be a different game type. The one thing I will say is stay out of the classic mix. Even before the change, that's where I was seeing just the most stompy, sweaty, try-hardy teams in the classic mix. I don't go into there unless I want to sweat. So that's my first bit of advice. If you're playing the classic mix thinking, oh, this will be a low-key thing, don't do that. It's just bad there. It's a wasteland. We stay away from that. But Supremacy and Control, both were, I don't know. I mean, again, it's only 8 or 10 games I played. It seemed a little sweatier at times, but not overly so. Now, to be fair, there was one match where we had a guy in the lobby who got 47 kills, which normally, 20, maybe 30s, you might see every now and again. Like I'll have some games where I'll get, around 20 kills if I have a decent game. I can't remember the last time I saw someone getting 47 kills in a lobby of a non-competitive game thing. So take that as a data point as you will. I'm also playing US East Coast servers in the evenings with everybody else off of work. I'm no longer playing at the weird oddball times during the day. So it definitely felt like a change, but it definitely, I didn't have the experience of just getting destroyed. And I mean, just for reference, I'm a 1.0 KD-ish. Basically between 0.8 and 1.2 is where I've been forever. That's sort of where I land in the KD world. So I'm not a great player, but I'm not terrible, and I've put a lot of hours into it. But I don't know. I mean, it definitely, I felt the change, but it didn't feel overwhelming. It didn't feel like getting stomped. And again, I didn't set foot in the classic mix because I just know that's always bad. I didn't see a lot of teams though. I felt like before I was seeing more groups of 2 or 3. And again, could have just been the couple of matches I played. Everybody was, for the most part, solo queuing, or there might have been a team of 2 or 2. It wasn't teams of 5, teams of 6 jumping in. I'm really curious to see Iron Banner this week, how that plays. Because I intend to spend most of my game time this week in Iron Banner. So I feel like I'll have at least a little bit of a better sense of it, after this week. So yeah, Knight, what was your experience? And I played it all on Xbox, again, just for reference. So what platforms did you play on, and how did your experience go?
I just played on Xbox. I only played 3 games because that's all I had time for at the time. And we won my first game, lost the second game, won the third game. But what I was quite interested in is I went in with some of my pre-made loadouts that I'd used last season. So I had a Sweet Business loadout with the Acton War Rig. There was a pulse rifle one, and then there was just messing about with grenades and things. And for each one, the first game went in pretty standard, 17 kills, 1.2 KD. I was 4th on the list, so there was a couple of good players above me. The second game, and I think we were all kind of still in that same kind of pool of players, so it just kind of rotated us around. I got 10 kills and 0.77 KD, and we lost. Again, I was 4th. But in that game, I managed to kill somebody that I think they'd got 25 or 30 kills in a row without dying. So I got the medal for killing them which I'd never had before. Game 3, I got 14 kills. So I thought, it's very comparable to game 1. But again, I got 0.78 KD. And we won that game, but I was 6th on the list. I honestly can't. I don't know if I've played enough as yet. And I don't know whether it's because I'm stepping back into Crucible after, say, 2 or 3 weeks of just playing PvE. And I'm not used to it, even though I just, whacked on the builds that I'd already had for PvP. Was it me just being, a lapsed player of not playing PvP? Was it the new metas that are in there? Was it the fact that the skill-based matchmaking has been taken out? I mean, there's a lot of variables, and like you were saying, I think the best thing for me to do is to continue testing it, because next week with Iron Banner, that's something I will be playing a lot of. And if it's been disabled in that as well, then I'll be able to give a better overview of my opinions and how I actually feel and how I've actually dealt with it. My feeling at the moment was that something was off, because it felt like when I join with ODST, now he's a better player than I am. And when I team up with him, I seem to be in a sweatier lobby than when I'm just solo playing. And if I'm solo playing, I seem to play, a lot better. I mean, I seem to find that I go off and lone wolf quite a lot and get a lot of kills.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed the same thing. I played all these games solo this week. I've definitely noticed, though, if I jump in with you or Pan or Blue or Odie, depending on who I'm in with and sort of their skill level, it definitely, I can feel myself going up or down in those tiers a little bit, or at least before, where I can tell if I jump in with people who play a lot of Crucible as well, it'll be like, oh, there's a bunch of experienced Crucible people. Let's put you up a higher bit. Or if I'm jumping in with, some people who just play less of it and don't really enjoy it, it'll be a little harder for them, but it'll be a little easier for me, it feels like, just overall. And again, it's just, I don't have numbers. It's just sort of a vague sense of, I feel like I'm doing pretty well. But yeah, so I went back and looked at the stats, and the one guy I was with the 47 kills, I looked him up on Destiny Tracker, and he's, 0.9% of, his clash. He is a top 1.2% supremacy player. Like, he's a phenomenal PvPer. Where I don't, again, I've run into good PvP folks in the past, but I don't feel like someone dropping 47 kills in a supremacy game, I don't ever remember seeing someone with, someone else might have an 8.6 KD, but it's over, 20 kills or 15 kills or something, not 47. Yeah. So, I'll be curious to see if that was more of an outlier or if that's something that can, something we're going to see more of. It's also worth noting, Trials wasn't up while I was playing. I was just playing during the week, and Trials wasn't available. So I'm always curious, where, if maybe the weekend, some of those.
Yeah, okay. I played while Trials was available, because I thought maybe it's, the sweaty players might go out of the playlist. But no, they obviously weren't.
Yeah, no, they're definitely enough. And again, it's a big enough world. There's enough people always around. But yeah, I always try to think, okay, it's an off time. Maybe they're in Trials. Yeah, no, they're still there just to stomp on us lowly people. Yeah, I don't think I went back and looked. I think I had one game where I was over KD and mostly between 0.5 and 0.8 with like between 5 and 14 kills. So not a great match, but yeah, also like you said, there's so many variables. I hadn't played a bunch. It's, getting back into it. Is it the speed of the game and just me being off, or is it just the game has changed a little bit? And yeah, there's some of both for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they've changed the weapons and things, haven't they? So
definitely,
some of the weapons have got a buff, some of them have got a slight nerf. There's, like the last word, I tried using that, and it was very crispy when I could hit the shots. But,
right.
Yeah,
it's all gnawing hunger and Felwinter's Lie. Like that's, I feel like that's pretty much all I saw. Gnawing hungers and Felwinter's Lies. Obviously not on the same person, but when I was getting killed, like that was, and I was playing with some other auto rifles and consistently getting outshot by the gnawing hunger, which I should know to expect. But I wanted to see how some of the other ones would stack up. Poorly is how they stack up. Gnawing hunger is, as we've been saying, and other people have been saying, is in a really good spot right now.
Yeah. Respawn, you wanted to say something?
I mean, first of all, the pulse rifle that we get from hitting level something or other, right? That is
Redrix.
No.
Okay.
Pulse rifle in what?
Oh, the cold front.
That one.
Cold front. Cold
something else. Yeah.
Oh, the one I don't have. Okay.
That thing's a monster, right? First of all, it's the more and more people that
cold
get
denial. It's the cold denial.
You'll see that more and more in the Crucible, especially if they get a good one, because that thing is a monster. And
it is, yeah.
I have been using false promises, right? Now, I know people are going to groan out there. Oh, false promises. But the one that I have has dynamic sway reduction and Zen moment and ricochet rounds with a masterwork for range. And it deletes people at a very respectable range in the Crucible. I
don't think anybody would be moaning about it, do you? They won't
be
making any noises. There's all the videos I've seen say it's a very good auto rifle.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
It very much is, yes.
It's very good, and I was winning a lot of fights with it until I saw some gnawing hunger folks who were able to outgun me.
It depends on the range, though. If you're mid-range with a gnawing hunger, yeah, you're going to delete people. But I'm talking about like pulse rifle ranges. That auto rifle is comparable to a pulse rifle, in my opinion. Right, as long as you can land your shots, you gotta get that stability though, which is why I have like 3 stability increasing things on mine. But once you increase that stability, dude, just come on. What are you gonna do from that range? Now, again, like you said, gnawing hunger, close to mid-range, yeah, the thing's gonna eat your face because that's what it's built to do. But yeah. There's another 600 round auto rifle that I was playing around with that I found to be really, really good. I'm going to look that up here in just a minute so I can let y'all know.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Suroses. I've seen, again, totally anecdotally, a couple of sweet businesses in the Crucible where before it's like nobody runs that except for me if I'm screwing around. Like, but I've actually seen, the Hunter last week, and I saw a couple of folks this week running it. Or at least I heard it. I didn't see a lot of it, but I heard it on the map.
I heard it.
Didn't get killed by it, but someone was getting kills with it.
Yeah, I mean, when I got my 1.2 KD on the first game, I was running Sweet Business, and I thought I was doing pretty poorly. I was getting a couple of good kills here and there, but I ended up getting 17 kills. But compared to last season, with the same setup, I was getting a lot more kills. I was in the high 20s, and I always felt like I was always being challenged with my skill in the quick play, but obviously not.
Obviously. While we're on the subject, though, speaking of pulse rifles, there's a pulse rifle that you get from. You got past tense. You can't get it anymore from Trials when it first came out. It's the pulse rifle that you get from the original Trials. It has a name. I'm looking up
about its
name. Relentless.
I only ever experienced Trials weapons on the business end.
That thing right there, it's a high impact pulse rifle, so it got a buff when we got our latest buffs. And if you have it, it's very good right now in this sandbox. I just wanted to point that out.
None of our listeners have it.
I do. I'm a listener. Sometimes.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I said sometimes.
Right, you were on a plane this weekend, or this week just gone. Did you listen to any of the old episodes?
Yes.
That's a yes. You're lying. What
I know. I listened to an episode, but I didn't finish it because the plane ride was only 45 minutes long.
So what you're saying
you didn't ask me if I finished it. You didn't ask if I finished it. You just asked if I listened, and I did. I just the plane ride wasn't long enough. What do you want from me, man? Get out of here.
Bless you.
Sometimes.
So I thought, with the question being asked, what do we think about it? So I think we should kind of continue our experiment into Iron Banner next week. Well, Parody and I will experiment in Iron Banner. I don't know about him.
I will play.
No, you won't.
Will you be kicking and screaming the entire time?
No. After the initial, sadness of realizing that I am in an Iron Banana match, I'll get over it pretty quick. It's just that hurdle, like when you gotta go to the gym. Some people out there, you're like, oh, I gotta go. Oh, and you fight it and you dread it, but then you get up, you get in the car, you go to the gym, and then you're at the gym and you do your thing, right? I got to get over that initial hurdle of not wanting to do it, and then I'm good.
So you're saying you can get in the car and go places? There's other buildings in the world? I'm unfamiliar with this.
Yes.
So I did a bit more research into this skill-based matchmaking thing that's not been removed or whatever's happened because of life. So yeah, I've done a bit of research, and I went away and I listened to Guardian Hub because their most recent episode, I think it was 65. They talked about the skill-based matchmaking being removed, and Des Raven on there had some pretty good views on it. And they pointed me in the direction of the Massive Breakdown podcast, episode 127. Now, what I found quite interesting was this was an episode that they did this time last year. And this time last year, the skill-based matchmaking, do we have it in quick play question was raised then. So it's been a whole year, and Bungie have now taken out the skill-based matchmaking, which has been quite interesting because they mentioned the fact that every year around June and July, we have the same question come up. And it always seems to be around the point of players dropping off in the game and what can Bungie do to increase the pool of players in, say, in Crucible. So this year, it seems that they've taken out the skill-based matchmaking to see. I'm guessing it's going to be an experiment because they probably want to see the data on it, whether they're actually getting more positive or more negative. What was interesting with the Massive Breakdown, Mercules actually goes through and explains what the skill-based matchmaking is rather than what people think it is, and what playlists have the skill-based matchmaking. And I mean, you've got to take it that it was a year ago, so it was before we had the beginning of Shadowkeep. So this was when they had, I think it was Countdown in competitive, and you didn't have the single player competitive that you could have. So it was before that. But most of the stuff that he was talking about actually still stands now with how Bungie work out how you are matched with other players. And I found it really interesting. It's about an hour and a half long. And I took some notes on this. And
I think it's funny you can actually hear him flapping the paper. I took some notes on
I took some notes.
Paper note. Is that the episode where they break down like what it is and the problems with each of them? Skill-based versus connection-based?
Yeah.
Like sort of like the pros and cons of both?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they mentioned that this time every year we have the same topic of people dropping off around now. So to increase the pool, they go round and round each year. What can they actually do? So Kit Catcher said that he at the time last year he was super happy with the quick play and the Iron Banner. He loves the matchmaking in both. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum. He plays and enjoys both of them for different reasons, and I think I can relate to that. When I go into quick play, I'm playing quick play for a specific, just because it's just enjoyable to go in and play. And with Iron Banner, I know I'm going to be a little bit more sweaty and it's going to be a bit more fun. And there's, the lights involved. And, I enjoy both for different things. So I think I'm kind of on the same wavelength as him. And Merc was saying that quick play is named as such. It should be quick play. So why is there skill-based matchmaking? Which, yeah, I get that. It should be something that doesn't have skill-based matchmaking. It should just be everybody's in a pool and everybody plays. And he does an analogy with a ping pong reference. With if he wants to learn ping pong, he gets good at playing ping pong. He then signs up for a league. He then goes to professional tournaments and things like that. But he can still go to the pub and play people in his area at a ping pong table, and they could be higher skill players, they could be better or lower. He uses that analogy of for what quick play actually is. I think what they pointed out is that comp is the thing that needs to be addressed. Comp is the thing that a lot of players, even Asdacross recently in one of his recent videos was talking about skill-based matchmaking, said it seems to be less sweaty going into comp at the moment. So new players should go into comp because you will find people of your own skill when you are first starting out. And that was quite interesting, is that Merc was also saying that it's harder to win games for lower skill players or players that are just coming into the game. And it's hard to kind of convince people to stick around when you have a quick play list as we've got at the moment, because as KJ was saying in his email to us, that he feels demoralized. He doesn't want to go and play Crucible anymore. And there's a lot of other players that will see what's happened or go into Crucible now and just get completely demoralized. Even though I won one game and lost another game, my KD was a lot lower than what it had been. And I think I'm a bit more thick-skinned when it comes to playing in Crucible. But if I was a new player and I had that experience, I could completely understand where they're coming from, that, oh, I don't want to go into that. But then Bungie aren't pushing those players to go into comp and say, right, this is the playlist for you to get your skill up. Because let's face it, you could do the single player and be matched with other players around your same skill level to then be matched against other people against your skill level to then go up to 2100. And by that point, you've got a bit more experience under your belt. And maybe you do just stay at 2100 points. But at that point, you are then matching against other people around your skill level that you can then get better at. But Bungie haven't actually communicated that to new players.
Yeah, that's been a problem for a while. And I mean, that definitely echoes. Again, I haven't really stepped into competitive since I did my Recluse grind. But after trying the season before and just getting to, I don't know, 17, 18, 1900, somewhere in there, and then just sort of hitting a wall, just couldn't string enough wins together or put enough time together to get it done, and then knocking it out in an afternoon. Now, granted, I did it at the start of a new season, right when they introduced the system of, hey, we're going to actually try to sort of put everybody on equal playing field from the start, and then as you play, put you into tiers sort of where you belong. It was definitely, I mean, just, again, I felt like I was playing in actual competitive games every single time. Yeah, I was getting stomped every now and again, but there's always going to be an outlier. There's always going to be that guy who...
Every now and again? Only every now and again? Really?
Well, yeah, only every now and again. I mean, yeah, sometimes you'll lose a game, and sometimes you'll run to a guy who will drop 47 kills on your team. But overall, you're playing competitive
You
match.
keep bringing that up. Does that really affect you?
No, not at all. No. It's just in the how many years have we been playing Destiny 2? 3 years now, 4 years. Like I don't think I've ever seen someone hit 40 in a game, let alone higher than that. I don't care. You run into a good person, you get stomped. That's what happens. It's just the example I have. If it's something else, if it had been 50 kills this week, that'd be the number I throw out. Just that's the number of the week. It happened this week, so that's the example I'm using. I don't care. Like I'm like 19. I go in. I win, I lose. I don't get that the game, but I'm like, you know what? You're using this weapon well. You're doing this. I just step away for a while. I just don't care that much. It's a game. I play it to have fun. But yeah, I think you're right that Bungie sort of they almost need to rename the things and say, if you want to get started out, go into this game type. If you want to play, if you're sort of a veteran and don't know what to expect, go into this game type.
Yeah.
I also think it'd be really nice to have some sort of Valor-based, like, I was thinking about this week, because Valor is sort of you play a game, you earn Valor. Win, lose, draw, you play a game, you earn Valor. And say, maybe until you get, until you reset your Valor once or twice, or, until some Valor-based number, there's a playlist available to you sort of as a new Guardian Crucible. Until you reset your Valor, we'll call it twice. You can jump into this sort of, beginner's level playlist of, it's only people who have not, played enough of the game to reset their Valor more than twice. That at least limits the number of people you're playing. And yeah, there's always people who would jump in with alt accounts and blah, 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 whatever. But at least overall, the community in that playlist should be, like beginner level people, like what Halo did, where until you're at level 5 or whatever, you can jump into sort of that beginner PvP list of, it's people who are also on low level characters. Yeah, they may be better than you, but at least their character is also low level, and they may not have, amazing guns and things. So,
I think that's a good idea.
Something like that. Just give us, give some sort of sandbox to, maybe I want to play PvP, but don't know what to expect, or I don't enjoy it, but I want to sort of get a feel of it before just getting run over and rooting my experience out the gate, and then I never come back to it. Because that's the problem. People go in, they get stomped, they never come back to it.
It's a good idea, and I think if they were to do that, they should take into, like, veteran guardians' past experiences in Crucible. So even if that veteran guardian hadn't reset their rank, say, in each season, but they've played Crucible for consecutive seasons, they are then considered to be veteran players, and they are in a different pool of players. Whereas if you're coming new into the game, there should be a new light Crucible for you to play in, quick play. There should be something on the director for those players, or it just Bungie behind the scenes should direct players into a separate kind of pool, so that maybe it's all the directories look the same, but then if you are playing with a veteran player, unfortunately you're going to end up in the veteran pool. But I know that sounds very similar to what we had before, but it is a rough barrier for like the new players to get into, and those bottom and low skilled players should never, not even now, ever be playing anybody near the top 1%. And I think, unfortunately, we are now seeing those top 1% players being able to play at lower tier players and really stomp. And I know it's on the odd chance, but like Parody was saying, he had a guy that was maybe not in the top 1%, but maybe in the top 20%. But then that also makes a difference to the people that are in the lower bracket. I know we had it in Destiny 1 that it was no skill-based matchmaking, and when you went in, you got destroyed if you couldn't play Crucible. But that is what turned a lot of players away. It doesn't help whatever they've done at the moment, their solution to just turning it off. I know they want to get the pool of players, they want to grow the pool of players so that maybe the higher population, it wouldn't matter, because you then would have everybody in that playlist and it wouldn't matter.
Look.
It would work out more level playing if there was more people in the pool of playing.
Let me ask you a question. Bungie's first game, right? Halo. Did it have any of that stuff in there? Did it have trials? Did it have skill-based matchmaking? Did it have connection-based? Did it have any of that? Do you know?
I have no idea how they did the matchmaking of that. I just know that there was a place you could go in as a beginning PvPer to have a good experience, and then you could at that point decide whether you wanted to go on. I don't know how they did that.
Okay, what was that mode called? I'm asking you because I'm genuinely... this conversation is going in circles, right? Because skill-based matchmaking, not skill-based matchmaking. Connection matchmaking, not connection matchmaking. That's
how the game works. It's
competitive, whatever. Look.
Get to your point.
My point is this. Stop complaining. If you want to play Crucible, go play Crucible. If you get stomped, you get stomped. You don't get stomped, congratulations.
That's not helping anybody.
Okay?
That's not helping anybody.
But we have this same conversation periodically, and it's driving me nuts, dude. People always complain.
We don't have this.
We have had conversations about the different kinds of matchmaking in Bungie many times. When they were adding skill-based matchmaking, we heard people complaining. When they took it away, we had people complaining. I was one of them, granted. It's just somebody's always going to complain about one of these matchmaking skills. All right, look, you want to go into quick play? Go into quick play. You want to go into freaking competitive? Go into competitive. You want to play Iron Banana? Do that. You want to freaking whatever? Do it. If you get stomped, you're either going to get stomped or you're going to get better, right?
And then you are right back where you started with a PvP community of nothing, and then
try a different game mode. You get into a game mode, you get your ass stomped. Guess what? Try a different game mode.
But that's the problem that they came across with Trials. They thought, Trials, that they could open it up to everybody, but then the top tier players found a way of farming the lower tier players, which wasn't enjoyable for the lower tier players. So the lower tier players decided, we're not going to play your game mode. So it was just the sweaties, and they all complained and they got upset. So they had to change the mode. So now it's, if you get this, this, and this, you'll get more of this. It just, at the moment, taking out the skill-based matchmaking, and I'm not saying replace it back again. I'm not saying put that back in. I'm not actually saying yay or nay for it. I'm just feeding back some of the research that I found when I was looking into the question that was posed to us. That it turns out that, with skill-based matchmaking being removed, it seems to be better for the top tier players as they get matched more frequently. They're not sitting in orbit for 12 minutes as some of the YouTubers have been saying, I've been sitting there waiting to play, because quick play is just to have fun. And it doesn't seem to be at the moment, with some of the feedback, that people are having fun. You can't seem to go in there with a stupid loadout and have fun, or you'll just get destroyed. The idea is that you go in, you play, you can experiment with different builds. but everybody seems to play a lot more and stay in that playlist. And yes, I understand that in the skill-based matchmaking, we had people teleporting across the map. We had, people phasing in and out. There was glitching all over the place. And the question has to be raised: has Bungie eliminated that part of what they wanted to do, or does that still continue? That you've got to ask the question of what was the actual reasoning behind them taking out the skill-based matchmaking. I mean, they were saying that it would make the matches more frequent. It would stop the people who had the laggy connections as much being matched up against other people that didn't have the laggy connections that then, upset their games. But as I said, it seems to translate more for the high skill players, that they have more frequent games, so they enjoy it a bit more, so that they can make more content for us to then enjoy them, playing. But it's not a relaxed atmosphere as it originally was, from what I can see. It doesn't translate down into the lower half of the PvP crowd who just want to play and just maybe do their bounties and get out. I don't know. There's not enough incentives and rewards for people to go into the competitive and play more competitively against each other. It just seems to be every playlist at the moment seems to be, this is hard, this is going to be sweaty and soul destroying, as people have been saying. There should be different bounties as well. Why are the bounties not catered towards your skill level? If I want to go in and I've, say for instance, I've got to get 10 precision kills in Crucible. Now, I could probably do that in maybe 2 or 3 games, but a top skilled player could probably do that in one match and get out. Why are the bounties not kind of ranked for how well you can play? So if you're a brand new player, why does it not just say get 1, get 2, get 3? Why not reward the lower skilled players that have just come into the game or just trying to do well in Crucible a bit more incentive to come back into it? Or you've got your 3 headshots.
Good scrub.
No, that shouldn't be the mentality. That is the mentality. If you want to go into trials, remember, that is your mentality. Said, oh, they shouldn't be in trials. So where do they go? They have to go to quick play.
If you don't want to challenge, and you don't want to play against other people, play the freaking
storyline.
Play PvE.
It's not a
whatever,
challenge,
dude.
It's not a challenge when you are being matched up against those other skilled players in quick play. And I understand the word of quick play should be quick play.
PvP, dude.
I understand that. But I'm not getting enough kills for what I want to kind of do and enjoy
Shouldn't
the game.
Better.
Ultimately,
that's what it is. Every other PvP game out there, they don't cater to their fan base like a bunch of whiny little freaking "I deserve this" type people, dude. Right?
Which is
why? Why is Destiny making such a big deal out of this? Yo, if you want to go play Crucible, go play. If you're not good enough to hang out with the people that you're playing against, sorry, Chief. Get better. Go play a different game. And I know what you're going to say. Bungie wants people to play their game. But no matter what you do, you're alienating some people. So just cater to the fan base that's going to stick around and stop with all the back and forth, dude.
No, but I think
you have hit on the problem of you can't cater to the new player and the streamer. They're on a spectrum. You can't cater to both of them.
Okay. All right. Mortal Kombat as an example. Is there an easy mode in Mortal Kombat? No. You jump online, you fight somebody, you're going to be better than them or you're not. Right?
Because that's all that game is.
That's what I'm saying, though. When you're doing PvP, you're going to beat them or you're not.
But I think the thing is it's the labeling of the game modes. The game mode as quick play, it gives a false representation of what it actually is or what it was meant to be or what it is now. I'll give you an example because I looked at skill-based matchmaking YouTube videos. I listened to True Vanguard, Apathetic, I'm Not KC, and Mr. Chow Time. And some of the comments on I'm Not KC were quite interesting because it kind of went along with the email that we got from KJ. This one's from David Sabilion. He says, as for me, I used to play Control for fun. Very casual. I would throw a shield at B and emote to be goofy. Now it's simply not fun for me. it went from casual to I can't blink or I'll get sniped from my spawn points. He says he doesn't mind being challenged, but if he wants to be challenged, he'd go into competitive. The only way I can let the devs know how unhappy I am is to stop playing that. And that makes me sad, since I used to love Destiny a week ago. And then Jedi Card Tricks said, streamers and YouTubers like to push the narrative that, oh, you'll never run into the top 1%. The top 1% are not the issue. The issue is that the skill level increases exponentially once you get into the top 25 to 30%. I'm still running into very good players using all meta weapons, and I don't see anybody trying out new loadouts or chilling. We've traded what could be a bad experience for 3 out of 10 players to something that could be sweaty for 70% of the players. Then streamers and YouTubers tell me, but you just get mercied faster and you get your valor and move on. How often do you think that I want to do this? And then Scott B said, I don't feel like there's a place to drink beer and enjoy Crucible anymore. Every match is now sweaty. It's not fun, and fun is what Destiny is missing in almost every direction these days. I'll link all the videos that I watched. I mean, True Vanguard and Apathetic and I think Mr. Chowtime all sided on the fact of skill-based matchmaking being removed. And, they all gave valid points for why it should be removed. And I'm not saying, as I've said many times, I'm not saying that it should be back in the game, or I'm saying something else should be implemented. But it seems to be that taking the skill-based matchmaking part out of the game has hurt the game for some players that actually did go in there and play a lot. Now, I mean, I haven't got all their accounts up. I can't see how regularly they played. I can only tell you how regularly I play, which is why I said that I'm going to hold off my judgment until maybe next week when I actually play Iron Banner, because that's the game mode that I like playing, and I can actually give it a real test.
I think at the end of the day, it's just you need to draw a thicker line between this is a competitive thing, this is not a competitive thing, and actually have. I don't know if it was just more options in Halo, where you had more options to go into. You had action sack, you had absurd things, you had the King of the Hill, you had things you could go into that were sort of silly based. Like you could be really good at King of the Hill, you still had to track another person down. You could be really good at action sack. It was just absurd, stupid game types running around with swords. I don't know if you need to bring in just like a ridiculous playlist into Destiny PvP or what, just to give people more diversity. Or hey, you want to drink with your buddies on a Saturday night? We used to go into like a bunch of like the user created levels in the PvP stuff and just do like just absurd races and fall down chutes and all this crap in Halo that Destiny just doesn't have. And I'm like, Bungie, you made this, you built it, it's possible. I would like to see, like, just to build out. I just want to see them, maybe build out the PvP experience more and make it more than just here's competitive, here's quick play, here's trials. That's it. Like, they're just give it more, give it more to it. Give it that casual place.
Let quick play give you glory. Problem solved.
I do remember Halo. The wait times to queue into a Halo 3 lobby was quite long. Comparable to what we did have. Queuing into quick play. So
yeah, and Halo's the example I use just because I played a fair amount of Halo PvP back in the day. I did play some Call of Duty back in the day until I Respawn said get good or get out. I never touched the franchise again because I got out. I left that franchise behind years ago and never looked back. It's not a place for me. It's not a game I'll consider. I've moved on with life. So I took Respawn's advice on that one and said this is not the place for me. I don't want to be an esports PvP gamer. I'm done.
Yeah, so. I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I mean, some people like Final Fantasy, some people don't. Some people like Destiny PvP, some people don't. Some people like Pac-Man, some people don't. Just because you want to be a part of the community doesn't mean you should. Sorry.
No, but the thing is that you join a community, you enjoy a game mode. Like a lot of people have said, they've enjoyed what quick play was for, say, the last 6 months to a year, what it has been since Shadowkeep. And for them to suddenly just go, right, skill-based matchmaking has been taken out. And maybe their feedback is a little premature. Maybe they've only played like 1 or 2 games like I did. And it's not they've not given it a chance to kind of get into full swing of just going back in and playing over and over again.
Look, I called this as soon as they mentioned that it was going to go away. As soon as the first time we had the podcast after they removed it, I said, look, it's going to be bad. Skill-based matchmaking is going to let all the low-tier players go against people that are way better than them, and it's going to be bad. I freaking called it. And here we are having this freaking conversation about it. I told you, man, skill-based matchmaking should not have been moved. Are the queue times lower? Yeah. But now you're going to lose an even bigger fan base because all the lower people are going against the higher tier people, and they're not going to want to play. At least before with skill-based matchmaking, all you did was had a bunch of YouTubers crying about, oh my God, I got to find other people that are the same skill level I am. But you still had a player base. Now you're going to lose your player base. Congratulations, Bungie.
No, and I know it sounds like it's kind of it's definitely a hot topic at the moment, and it's something that I think we'll investigate a bit further in the next week.
But more importantly,
there's nothing to investigate, dude. I'm telling you, it's going to get worse, man.
I'm going to try next week.
Tune in next June, a year from now, when we have the same conversation because they've gone back the other way again.
Yeah,
I'm actually quite disappointed in the massive breakdown. They said tune in June 25th, 2020 for our discussion on skill-based matchmaking. I looked on the timeline. I said, nothing mentioned in your show notes about skill-based matchmaking for June 25th, 2020. You didn't hold it. You didn't hold it together, Merc. You didn't do a year on, because that would have been interesting for them to look back on their previous episode and go, well, this, and this. So hopefully they might do one in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, the way it is now, skill-based matchmaking is not enabled. You're going to go up against people that are going to be better than you. So either get good, stop playing, but stop crying, okay? Because it's not going to help anything.
Don't listen to him.
Eventually, they'll bring back skill-based matchmaking. Then all we have to do at that point is listen to the freaking YouTubers cry about it, all right? And you know what? Personally, I don't care about the YouTubers crying. You put yourself in a higher tier. You play against people in that same tier. Sit down, shut up, make content. That's what you're there to do.
Am I right? Am I right or am I right? I'm right.
So now we've heard from Respawn. It's time to be heard from the Black Lives Matter pin that Bungie are now talking about. So on Juneteenth, they shared an article announcing our Be Heard Black Lives Matter pin and spoke about the significance of the day. So go read it if you haven't had a chance to yet. But basically, they're doing pre-orders for the pin are now live on the Bungie store, and all profits for the sale of the Be Heard collectible pin and emblem will benefit Equal Justice Initiative. That's EJI.org. All pre-orders will include the Be Heard emblem that will be emailed within 24 hours of your order. And we have already had tens of thousands of Guardians show their support. Thank you so much for supporting this cause and showing support in game. So we have some Twitch Prime rewards that I believe we did talk about last week, but we're going to talk about them again because they are in the TWAB. So this is the Cerebral Explosion emote, like exotic emote. Don't forget it's exotic. You have the Burnout Exotic Sparrow, and this is the one that makes you look like Ghost Rider on a sparrow. Pretty cool. I like rocking that one.
That one is actually dope.
Plasma Shell, the exotic ghost shell. So it's got an electrical field around it. Looks really cool. I'm not sure about the perks, because some of the perks are set on these ghost shells, aren't they? Like with Speed Demon. Like I never buy one from Eververse if it's got Speed Demon on it. If it's got Guiding Light, I'll buy it so that I can maybe
Eververse had one. Eververse had one. Hold on. Let me bring my shit up right now.
Yeah, I'd buy them. I do buy them.
No. What I'm saying is there was one with Guiding Light and Speed Demon, is what I was saying.
I don't want a Speed Demon one. And the Stellar Pavement Legendary Ship. So don't forget to link your Twitch Prime to your Bungie account to get those fabulous rewards from Amanda Holiday in the Tower.
All the Guardian games one had Speed Demon and Guiding Light on it.
Yeah, the lunar shell, the one with the one that looks like a moon. That game, mine at least has Guiding Light and Speed Demon.
I've lost track because I never changed my Ghost Shell. Because why?
What do you mean? Why? Don't say nonsense stuff.
Because I have the one with the Guiding Light and Speed Demon, and why ever take it off?
Right.
Why would I ever?
Right. I'm going to educate you now in why you would need a different ghost. Right.
Treasure Hunter.
No. I mean, if you're doing like bounties and things, maybe you want something that will find the treasure or the planetary materials quicker and faster. Yeah, that's fine. So keep those around for just.
And that absolutely had done when we had to go hunt down 1,000 treasures on each. We had ghosts out that would show me what the treasures were. Like I have one of each of those for each of the planets, Absolutely, that I will give you.
No, I'm
See, if you ran Hunter Top Tree, you wouldn't need that because our radar gives us all that stuff.
I would never run Hunter any tree, so I don't need to.
I'll give you an example. There are a couple of ghost shells that you can get from the game that will give you kind of a double and triple stat perks for whatever you're actually doing. So, for an example, I had a drop pod shell. Now, this is the one that looks like a Cabal drop pod. And the first one that I got had Guiding Light, so it gives me an increase of 10% on all my XP gains. But then it also gave me an extra 10% while I'm in Gambit. So I get 10% and then another 10% on top of that. And then it had improved Arc Analyze. And I thought, okay, that's a really good one. So if I'm in Gambit and I turn in some bounties while I'm in Gambit, it's not necessarily 20% extra. It's like 10%, another 10% on top of that. But then I got another one to drop, I think, from just like one of the Eververse things with the Guiding Light 10%. I got the Gambit Experience Log, which gave me an extra 10%. I then got one that gave me an extra 10% of Glimmer whilst I'm in Gambit. So it's a brilliant triple stat. And
so those do stack.
You can stack, yes.
Like the experience one specifically. Okay, because honestly, I haven't got many of those to drop, but I've always wondered if they actually stack or if it just said, here's your 10% and here's your pittance on top of that. So it does actually give you either 10% of 10% and 10% again, or 20% or whatever.
Like the fire team bonus that you can get whilst being in a fire team and turning in bounties. So if you're in a fire team, whilst either in Gambit, I've got one for Crucible as well. So if you're in Gambit, you'll get like the fire team bonus and the 10%, and then the extra 10% for being in the activity. And what I found is that you can actually load into a private Gambit match, and the same if you have it on the Crucible, and the stats still work. It will pop up on your Ghost. You can check it whilst you're in a private Crucible match or a private Gambit match. The Ghost Shell will show that it's working. And I've also, like I said, I've got one for Crucible, the Kit Bash Shell. This is the one that looks like it's been pieced together. And this, again, has got the Guiding Light, and then it's got the Crucible Log experience. So I think you can re-pull them out of collections and try and see if you can get a better roll on them. So I might see if I can get one that I can get from Strikes as well. So it'll give me the 10% Guiding Light and 10% while I'm in Strikes, and maybe something like Glimmer while I'm in Strikes. That's a good reason for, apart from having like the planetary ones, then there are other good reasons for why you might want to.
Okay, so they do stack. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not going to change it because I'm lazy and won't do it. But at least it's good to know that there are other viable options.
Yeah,
Treasure Hunter 1. And yeah, if I was trying to get, I at this point I feel like I play enough of Gambit and things to, get my infamy and stuff up anyway. But yeah, it's good to know there is at least a viable reason to do so.
And I've just dropped something into the chat that I'm going to go through with you guys because this really tickled me, and I thought this would be Respawn. This makes me laugh. Right, so this was on Destiny the Games Reddit, and the title is I got used from my body. There I am, hanging out with Eris, just messing around, minding my own business, when this hunter loads in, invites himself into my fire team, blows through all these bounties to level up, and then dips. I've never felt more violated in my Destiny career. And then somebody else said, thanks, your money's on the altar. And apparently this is a thing that some people are doing. If you have an open fire team, people will join you to get the XP bonus to then turn in your
But here's what happened. Right? So you're half right that it's something that I would do, except somebody joined in on my fire team, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I got my bounties. I dragged them through strikes. I dragged them through public events. And then he sent me a message on Xbox. He's like, I just joined your party to get double XP on the bounties. I'm like, yeah, I know. And now we're doing this.
And you're going to work for it.
So he joined in on me, and I dragged him everywhere with me.
So I think either the moral of the story is lock your party to friends and clan members only, or you're going to get violated by people just randomly dropping in. Now, most people generally will send you a message and ask if they could drop into you. But it just seems that, this is a thing that random people will just suddenly drop into your fire team to get the XP bonus. So yeah,
I now really need to open my fire team up. So anyone would be like, all right, friends, we're going to Crucible. You're going to enjoy yourself. Although seriously though, I can't, like, I've played a number, again, I did Crucible this week. I played a couple of Gambit matches. partially just because that's where the new thing is, so I always load in there in the tower. I mean, other than the, freezing on respawn thing, that's a known bug. I feel like I've stepped into more matches where they just can't quite seem to get 4 people on 4. It's just like, did you leave midway through orbit? Did you get kicked? Like, what's happening here? Mm-hmm. I've played more 3-on-4 Gambit matches in the last week or two. So I don't know if in their change to change in the Crucible affected Gambit, or if it's just my experience or whatever, but I don't know. It's been a thing.
It's now time for the Players Support Report. And this is their report. That's right. The GCX emblems. Players who have donated to St. Jude's through the GCX stream will receive their emblems later this season and will be notified through a separate email. We will announce when these emails have been sent out, so please follow us at Bungie on Twitter to keep up to date on these emblems and our latest news. Prophecy Dungeon. Now, I know we didn't get to this in our last podcast, but I think just after I posted it, there was an exploit that was shown by Cheese Forever with the Prophecy Dungeon that you could load into the final checkpoint after you destroyed the final boss and constantly open the chest. And there was a way that you could kind of just do it over and over and over again in 5 teams and keep the checkpoint. So unfortunately, Cheese, due to an exploit, we have disabled the final checkpoint in the Prophecy Dungeon's final room, which occurs after the boss has been defeated. So players who had the checkpoint in the final room will have their checkpoints removed. So, sorry guys.
Did they actually mention Cheese by name?
No. No, I'm mentioning Cheese because Cheese
gotcha.
came out with a couple of videos on it.
Yeah, I know he did. I was just going to be like, that's dope. They mentioned. Once again, it's another example of Bungie fixing the things that don't need to be fixed before
they do need to be fixed.
That do. No.
They do.
Of the list of things that are broken in the game, that should not be at the top of the list. Sorry.
It was the easiest fix, so it gets fixed first.
See? I seriously doubt that, though.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt that.
I
think it'd be easier to fix giving Night Demon more freaking storage space than it is to freaking fix it to the checkpoint. You know what I mean?
Don't get me started on that. So yeah, sorry, Cheese. They fixed the exploit that you pointed out in a couple of your videos. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get it out there to more people. Not that we have more people following us than you do.
Well, I mean, I spread the word on every platform I have. So I mean, I hope the views reflected it, Cheese. But I told everybody I knew about it, man.
So Parody, would you like to tell us about our resolved issues and any currently known issues in your player support report, or Parody's player support report?
I feel like
Parody's known issues. Parody's everything.
All I do is talk
about it.
I like
keep doing this because he likes me talking over him.
It's the best.
Sorry.
I mean, I just figure, as a guy,
I want to do it too.
Podcast, I think it's best to talk.
Can we do it now?
Podcast. I feel like it gives him more.
Like, do we have to wait for him to start talking, or do we just talk and he joins in, or what?
Another 15 minutes. We should just keep talking because it'll give him like 15 minutes of time to cut out, which I know he loves. All of a sudden he goes, "Oh, look at all these audio waveforms. I can cut all of this. I can get rid of all of it. It's amazing." It makes him feel good. Starts his week out great.
So yeah, take us away with your report, Parody.
Yeah, so on Tuesday, so it turns out it was indeed Tuesday, June 23rd, not the week of, but actually on Tuesday, they gave us hotfix 2.0. They gave us hotfix 2.9.0.2, which fixed the gear dropping at 750 power. Now drops at your player's actual power. Your upgrade gift rings triumph is now going to track gifts purchased from the prismatic recaster. The prophecy dungeon solo triumph that wasn't unlocking now should unlock for you, even though you don't have the final checkpoint anymore. Console players that were getting blackouts and not having any emblems, invisible ships, and a power level of 0 should be fixed. The almost money exotic ghost shell and Saint Vocation ship were also appearing invisible. Now they're not. And the Tommy's Matchbook Catalyst has been removed from player inventories. And current known issues, players who previously completed the Tommy's Matchbook Catalyst quest are being given the quest again. Players are unable to pick up the means to an end quest from the prismatic recaster. The Masterworked Trinity Ghoul exotic bow. Let's just say that one more time. Masterworked Trinity Ghoul exotic bow, because it got a catalyst, is not tracking enemies defeated using the chain lightning damage, defeating the point. Jade Rabbit decided to get broken because the Fate of All Fools perk is not activating any longer. The Rival Warlock shell from the Guardian games doesn't show ghost projections because seconds is the first loser. Sorry, guys. Players may freeze while respawning in Gambit. Still, very exciting. You get to watch your little animation twice. In my case, it's a snowman. I get to enjoy that snowman. And players who purchase the Be Heard collectible pin receive an emblem code that states "Contact Merchant for license." Should reach out to the merchant, Bungie Store customer service, for the license. And this is not all our issues, but we'll put the known issues.
Speaking of which, just a little rant here about the matchbook.
Okay, matchbook, go ahead.
Bungie, you did something in the game which broke the matchbook catalyst and any progress you were making on it, right? You took it away, it was gone, whatever, okay? You're like, oh, sorry, guys. We messed up on our end, so we're going to give it back to you. But we're going to reset everything that you did on there. Excuse me? Look, if you screwed up, why is it that your player base are the ones that are paying the price, Bungie? Very minimum. You should have completed it for them and then given it back to them instead of resetting the damn thing.
You know they've reduced some of the requirements, don't you?
It doesn't matter. That is just rude that you do that. You know? Like, do you go to somebody else's house without knocking? Do you eat their food without asking? Do you use their bathroom, use up all the toilet paper, and not replace the roll too? What kind of sick human being are you?
I'm going to use something that I wouldn't say a very wise person told me. I'm just going to use something that somebody told me once. I believe it was about an hour ago on a podcast. Get good, scrub.
That has nothing to do. Explain how that has to do with getting good. Bungie took something from us and then gave it back to us reset.
Just go and do it again and get good at doing it again.
No. It is rude for them to do that. They should have given it back to people.
Play against the architects and play another game.
If you weren't
good
enough to get the catalyst the first time round and actually install it into the weapon, then you've only got yourself to blame.
Yeah,
get good, scrub, and do these things when they come.
You're sitting here telling me I'm not good enough because I didn't finish my catalyst on that. Why didn't you? Get good. Come on.
Yeah. Get good, scrub.
That has nothing to do with the skills.
No. I'll tell you what it has to do with some good skills.
What has to do with good skills? Playtesting?
This is a terrible segue. Respawn's reading skills in Respawn's Report Roundup.
Respawn. Hey, what up? Let's go. Stormcallers, transmog, power levels, and more. This is what Cosmo has to say on the subject. Looking into Stormcaller being glitched. Reddit link. There's two of them. Transmog is still a ways out, so they aren't confirming any specifics of how the feature will work as of yet. Feedback will be passed along. Take a drink. That players want more information about it before raids and destinations are vaulted. Reddit link. Garden of Salvation and Last Wish gear will be granted an exception from the max power cap rules, and they will have max power cap that allows them to be infused to the max power cap of Season 14.
Is the UI will be comes to save us from the darkness?
Sure. The UI will be updated to show this starting in Season 12 Reddit link. It will apply to both the current items you have and any future ones you earn. Reddit link. And they said items here. Do not get excited. They did not mention the weapons. This is still just talking about the armor.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
They said previously weapons and armor from those two raids will go. Yeah. We talked about it last week, possibly the week before.
Yeah, we talked
about it. Give the people the wrong information then.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. But okay.
They've said it.
They said weapons and armor.
They've said a lot of things.
You say a lot of things. People ignore what you say as well.
Yeah. When Bungie said that we'll never nerf weapons, what happened with that? Right?
They sunset them instead.
Yeah, problem solved.
They've nerfed them. Do not start with... Oh, Bungie says a lot of stuff that can't be trusted. Anyway, Cosmo's tweet about cheating the game. No, that's right. Cosmo's tweet about cheating the game and also yourself after the Forge fix was a copy pasta. Reddit link. Good job, Cosmo. Players not being able to accept the means to an end quest is being looked at. Another Reddit link. Also, I got that quest again after I already completed it. I know you mentioned it, but it was still funny. They've been passing feedback that many players don't enjoy this large power bump between seasons. Reddit link 2 and 3 of them. And thank you. I'm so glad other people out there are complaining about these bumps besides me. Thanks for looking out, guys.
Because that would fix all the issues we've been complaining about around the glitches to get power if we just don't need more power. Because why?
It would fix a lot of things, I think, but I mean, whatever. It's a whole different conversation. They're sharing all of the feedback on reissued weapons that they are seeing. Cosmo has seen some players say that if weapons are reissued, they should have updated perks. Let them know what you think with it. Link.
So I'll tell you what I think. I think if you've got an exact copy of that weapon, you should be able to infuse it into the one that you've already got, and the light transfers over as well. And the little symbol.
I don't think exact should. Are you talking about the perks too?
No, if you've got an exact, like the Drifter rocket launcher that I'm telling you about that you got from the quest completed a couple of seasons ago, that he's now offering as a reward for completing his quest that I can just pick up.
Sure.
That should just be able to be infused into my original one because the kill tally on it is so high. And why should I, delete that one and pick up that one? It should just be infusable into that. If it matches exact, it should just be a trade-off for just it ups the light to 1360.
Right. I get what you're saying, but take it a step further, right? Let's say Parody has his favorite Gnawing Hunger, right? Gnawing Hunger gets sunsetted, but a couple seasons later, it comes back at a higher light level, right? Parody should get any Gnawing Hunger. Doesn't have to be the same one he's already got. He should be able to get any Gnawing Hunger and infuse it into his baby, right? So he doesn't have to refarm for that all over again.
No.
That Gnawing Hunger is long gone at that point.
No, I'm sorry, no.
That's been deleted.
If it's a Gnawing Hunger, and as long as it doesn't have new perks associated with it, right? If it's a different Gnawing Hunger, I can see, okay, yeah, no, fine. You're good, right? Different perks, different whatever. But if they don't change the Gnawing Hunger and they just take it out of the vault, you should be able to infuse your old ones with a higher light level. That's my 2 cents. Everybody out there agree with me because I'm right. Moving on.
No, not moving on.
Moving on. Sorry. No. They've been passing.
I just want to say something.
Many players
I need to say something. I need to say something. I was actually quite disappointed when I read the list of the weapons that were going to be available in Iron Banner. And they said that they were just going to bring back some from past seasons, and they were just going to put the new symbol on, the max light's going up to 1360. Now, a lot of people have got those weapons already, and if you turn in your tokens, you'll be able to kind of swap them out. But why didn't they just bring back other old weapons? So the original set that we had, like with the Fool's Remedy and the Forward Path, there was a pulse rifle, there was a rocket launcher, all that set. Why was that set? Because this was a prime opportunity for them to bring back a whole older Iron Banner set so that they could then say the Iron Banner set that you've got in previous seasons is going to be sunset, and this new set is going to be the ones that can be taken forward. I'm not saying put the new perks on the whole set. They could have just started off with these two, the Forward Path and the Fool's Remedy, getting the Iron Banner perks that are available on those two weapons for this Iron Banner, or maybe for this season, and then maybe next season add them to 2 more weapons so you have a chance of getting 4 weapons. I don't see them. They're kind of fueling the argument for people saying we don't understand this sunsetting. If you're just going to reissue weapons that are around now that have just got a 1060 max up to 1360 and have us refarm them now, if there'd have been a delay in between Iron Banners, so the set that is currently going away maybe comes back in 6 months' time, that then it could be, higher light. So the Swarm of the Ravens, the Bite of the Foxes, those would be available in like a year's time that could then go for another year ahead, and maybe perks changed. So they had a prime opportunity to say, oh, this is a whole new set of, reissued weapons with new higher light settings. So it's something that I think they missed out on. They missed a trick. Just bring back 2 weapons this time.
They're sharing all the feedback on reissued weapons that they're seeing. Cosmo's seen some players complaining about how they should come back with updated price. Let me know what you think. On speed of bug fixes. Here we go. This should be interesting. Some have already pointed out some of the technical reasons why some of our fixes are able to be made quickly, while others take more time. If we ever fix something within a day or so, that usually means it was something that was able to be fixed server side and didn't require a lot of testing to verify. It's always nice when we have that option, but it's not always the case, and most bugs require an update to the game, which is a much more complex process that takes more time and testing. Reddit link. It just so happens to be all of our favorite glitches are quote-unquote server side. Okay. Just because you can fix something doesn't mean you should. Thank you. Maybe it was better broken. That is definitely feedback I can give the team. Take a drink. I'll let them know, take a drink, that many players would rather the powerful reward continue to drop from the Umbral Ingram's Reddit link. A fix for Gambit dropping 750 gear and Prime Ingram's dropping 100 gear for Warlocks is being worked on. Reddit link. Didn't we talk about that last week? They still haven't fixed that? We'll make sure that the issue with Sparrow...
In one of the 2 updates. That was patched in 2901, I think.
Okay, so this came out on what, Monday? And they fixed it after Monday? Okay, sure.
They patched in 2901.
We'll make sure that the issue with Sparrow dismounting with bumper jumper control scheme is logged. Reddit link. Feedback to remove RNG from the sleeper nodes on Mars before the destination is vaulted has been sent to the team. Reddit link. Working on getting Redrix back in the loot pool. Twitter link. Wait, what? Classic Mix never had server
skill-based
matchmaking. Thank you. Twitter link.
The thing that we've talked about.
Right.
And the thing with the Redrix, MTash made a video on this, that because if you've already had it and you've deleted it, it's not reacquirable from your collections because it's a random rolled thing. So much like some of the Pinnacle ones that you can pull out of your vault, you can't reacquire this one. Even though there was a fixed version of it, you can't even pull that out of your collections. So it's also missing from the loot pool if you go to Shaxx and you're turning in tokens or at the end of a Crucible match. We thought, I think when we were going through the sunsetted weapons, that this season that would still be something in the loot pool if you'd already acquired it, but it's not apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Also, speaking of which, you know that grenade launcher that Astacross was talking about, the one that's going to replace Mountaintop, but it's an energy-based one?
No.
No.
Let me look up the name for it. Okay, yep. Well, let me educate you guys for a second.
You don't need to educate us. You can just tell us what it's called, and I could tell you if I've got a guide from Jar on the Truth Teller.
Yes, that's it. Truth Teller. What was that? Working Redrix?
DMG.
Okay.
It's a massive
DMG. They're looking to add more exotic ciphers in Season 12. Love it. Haven't even used the one I have already. A fix for final column double perk bonus for focused Umbral Ingrams is not working. Is planned for July update Reddit link. Cool. The team believes that they have identified the cause for broken bounty and milestone progress, but they're still working on exactly how to fix. Earliest they can expect to be addressed is this fall. What are they talking about? Let me see.
All the various, milestones and bounties that just don't work for people. I feel like we talk about every week. Some bounty doesn't unlock. Like every time.
This is just like a blanket general term, not anything specific.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything specific. Like every time they release, when you do it solo, you don't get the triumph sometimes. Like there's just a number of these where you just don't get the thing you should get. Okay. I think they're saying they found a fix for that overall underlying problem.
That's good. Very nice. And that's it for Respawn's rage-filled roundup report. Redundant.
Okay, so tips, tricks, guides, and builds for this week. Got a few, not too many. So, Houndish has a farm these now, best weapons and armor before sunsetting. So this is anything that you can kind of do this season that's going to continue and help you throughout the next year. So his top picks for weapons and armor to look out for. Apathetic has a Graviton Lance, still top tier, video, which is worth a watch. especially if you've got the catalyst for it, or even if you don't have the catalyst for it, you can work towards getting the catalyst for it when it drops and test it out for yourself and watch this video. Now, this is something that I'm quite proud this week. I'm not as good as Glad. I'm not as good as Esoteric Ebontis. I cannot solo a dungeon, but what I can do with blue screen is 2-man a dungeon. So far, anyway. We managed to 2-man the first boss. We managed to get through to the next bit, and then we 2-manned halfway through. There's kind of a puzzle section before there was too many knights and too many snipers that we then had to bring in a third person to get us through to the boss. But in doing this, I can now give you the best information for the best guide out there, and I found one by Ninja Pups, who does a complete breakdown of how the dungeon works, what are the mechanics of it, what's probably best for your loadouts. He goes over the urns. There are hidden urns in the dungeon, and there are hidden chests also that can drop some sweet loot. So he's got a complete guide for the Prophecy dungeon. So if you haven't kind of had a look at the dungeon, or you're kind of not feeling confident about it because you haven't got your light up, something for you to look at. And when you actually do feel confident, or you've got your light up, you can go in with an LFG or your friends. I mean, people were going in there, I think, the first week at 10:20, 10:30 maybe, and 3-manning the first boss, pretty easy in 2 phases. Now, if we can kind of do this with 2 of us, I mean, I think we were about 10:60, and you can't. I mean, the dungeons are built for people to solo, so as the weeks go on, you kind of get your light up with your artifact, and there were quite a few good mods. There's the elusive blade for the swords. I believe that we ran bubble with like oppressive darkness grenades. So once you've kind of got the mechanics down, it's pretty kind of cool to kind of do. So that's worth going and trying. And there's the guide for you from Ninja Pups. Error has got an Emperor Palpatine in Destiny 2 build with Risk Runner and the Trinity Ghoul with the Catalyst, the exotic bow. Just going to say again, with a Catalyst. And Crown of Tempest with Top Tree Stormcaller. So this is a pretty cool build that is very fast to how he builds into his super, and then you can just be Emperor Palpatine around the map. Brave X Hero has a How to Raise Your KD, and this is mainly for PvP, but it's improving your survivability. So if, for instance, you are one of these people at the moment that are having issues like me in Crucible, then maybe this is a video for you to kind of watch and take away some good tips from, to avoid being killed, to then maybe get your confidence back, to then go in and get better at it. So I know Brave's got quite a few different videos on PvP, and this is one of his most recent ones with, I'm guessing, with the changes to skill-based matchmaking. He's put this one together about improving your survivability, so that's worth a watch. T Glizzy has got a 1 million damage per melee build, and this is on a Titan with Wormgod's Caress gauntlets. So these are the exotic gauntlets that I believe they kind of stack your melee damage, and with Middle Tree Sunbreaker you can stack your damage with Roaring Flames up to ×5 as well. So this again might be a good build to take into the dungeon if you're not running a bubble Titan. You can run a melee Titan with throwing hammers and things like that, so that is worth a watch. Cheese Forever has a couple of good videos this week, and some of them are still viable. So he has a Pinnacle Hawthorn Bugs video for you guys to look at. He's also got a video on a double cleansing in the Prophecy Dungeon. So if you're watching the Ninja Pups video and you want to see how you can maybe do double cleansing on some of the platforms, Cheese has got a video detailing that. And then also there's a cheeky little one of how to get the free deluxe emotes, ornaments, ghosts, and more video. So this requires somebody actually owning some of the premium bundles that you can get. So if you've pre-ordered Beyond Light, like I have, and Respawn, you can load, like Respawn could load his son into on his Xbox, and I could load my son onto my Xbox, and then through some jiggery pokery you can actually get them to have the ghost shell, the emotes, and everything else. So there's a way of kind of getting them onto their accounts that Cheese has detailed in his video. And then finally,
have to be like in the same home, like someone you know and can log on as them, someone in your fire team where it works.
Somebody in your home, so you'd have to give your account to somebody. But it doesn't matter with you because you're going to buy it anyway.
I already have. In fact, I went out and bought my edition. Since I laid it out for myself last week, I was able to make a decision and buy it.
So yeah, as long as you kind of, if it's a friend that you trust, you can kind of share account details and things with. But yeah, I wouldn't kind of just do it with random people. And finally, we have Jarv has got a Mountaintop 2.0 video on the Truth Teller grenade launcher. And I believe this is one that you've been searching for, Respawn. How many parts did you lose trying to get this?
How many parts? What? Weapon parts?
Yeah.
I think 10,000.
And how many did you get from 10,000?
Well, it wasn't just the weapon parts. I didn't get any from the weapon parts.
Okay.
I got one from 6,000 Vanguard tokens, and I think I got another one out of the Shaxx tokens.
Okay. And were they good rolls?
No.
Moral of the story?
No.
Not worth it.
Did they have firmly planted on them? I need to know.
No.
Did they have spike grenades?
No. Well, I think one of them did.
They had spider grenades that just sit around the corner and scare you when you come around the corner, but don't actually deal any damage. They just shock you.
Yes, truth teller. There's this one right here. This one has high velocity, auto loading, and multi-kill clip.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Multi-kill clip. No. So if I watch this video, does it tell me where to get a truth teller to unlock it at all?
Does.
Or part of the massive? Very good.
It tells you where to get it and what to look out for.
Very good. That explains why I was seeing that and the Emperor Palpatine Warlocks this week in the Crucible.
Where do we get it?
Where
do we get it?
Gotta watch the video and find out.
And we got a message from our YouTubers, from August Rudolph. Do you guys help with raids? We can help. Whether we're actually going to be any help would be another question.
Does he specify a platform?
He specifies he's on Xbox. So
we offer raid hindrance on Xbox. We offer raid help on PC.
Yeah. Some of us can teach you how to do all the raids on Xbox, but there might not be enough of us online.
Well, I believe he wants to start with Leviathan. He wants to start with Leviathan.
What?
So,
you need to start with the ones that are getting sunset, dude.
That is one that's getting sunset, dude.
Like I said,
if you want to reach out to us via email or like on Xbox, Parody and I and Respawn, we can try and see if we can get a time that we can come and help you. I'm pretty limited with when I can for like joining American people. Parody?
Yeah, we're opposites on our availability. Your availability, wee hours of the morning for U.S. Eastern. I'm available in the evenings, U.S. Eastern, maybe. So it's rough. And Respawn travel, so who knows what time zone he's even in or if he has with it.
We are willing to help. Whether we will be any help is another question, as I said. But I do have a blue screen with me most mornings, so he's very helpful.
I was going to say that's the person, not the Windows feature.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to go over was the message that we got from Tesh, who was a musical plant, wasn't he? Tesh, or musical plant.
Once upon a time.
Good morning from Cali. I just finished your episode where you Guardian Down podcast, and it was definitely a favourite. I wanted to say to Respawn that I love hearing him talk about his musical history. I both love Korn and Linkin Park, and I knew he was going to mention Castle of Glass. The song is close to me as well. I found the video when one of my closest friends was heading off into the military, so there was a lot of mixed emotions. And to Parody, I checked out the song that he mentioned by 9 Inch Nails called The Day the World Went Away. I was curious if Parody could recommend any other songs to me. It can be 9 Inch Nails or not. Parody, have you got any other songs?
I mean, there's loads of songs. but I would just say yes. Basically, every Nine Inch Nails put out a double album called The Fragile, which is just phenomenal across the board. If you're even curious at all or never checked out Nine Inch Nails, that's sort of a good everything from the hardest of hard to the softest of soft. It's on that album. Play with that if you're enjoying it. And there's a band. Hold on, I have to look up because I always get the name wrong. The Black Queen. I found them on Spotify and some other places that have just been absolutely hitting my vibe lately. So I've been really enjoying that, specifically Secret Scream and Ice to Never. So those are just two I'll throw out.
And as long as we're talking about Nine Inch Nails, let's just, talk about Weird Al Yankovic and literally every song he's ever made. But no, there's one Word Crimes. That's, if you like comedy music, that'll make you laugh, but you got to watch the video. It makes it so much better.
Okay.
Very good.
And also by Tesh. I'm guessing it's Tesh. It's TE capital CH. Is that Tesh?
Tech.
Tesh or Tech. Write into us and tell us if it's the British pronunciation or the English pronunciation.
Yeah, TECH in English is tech, like technology.
Or perhaps even a third pronunciation. He can be whatever he wants.
Or I could just refer to him as Musical Plant and he still knows that I'm talking about him.
There you go.
So, Evening Guardians, wanted to let you know I'm all caught up with your episodes as of several days ago. I'm looking forward to the next one. Also, I just came across this interesting find in game, and I was wondering if you all might think there's some significance to it. So he's talking about the Tangled Web hood for the Warlock, I believe. Yes, and if you put a shader, something a little strange appears on it. Looking closely at it, it's pretty undeniable that on the forehead of the helmet there was what looked like a symbol resembling a wolf, maybe. My brother thinks that it could possibly have something to do with the lore. We know Bungie is. Either way, it's pretty neat. Sorry for this long message. I seem to be doing this every time. Haha. But yes, he's right. From when you do get it to drop, like the whatever shaders on it doesn't show there's a kind of wolf kind of logo on the helmet. But when you change the shader, you can see this kind of, I'm guessing like from the House of Wolves for the Fallen.
House of Wolves. Secret Iron Banner tease to next season.
So yeah, if you're a warlock and you've got the Tangled Web hood, Tangled Shore, I guess this drops. Have a fiddle with some of the shaders and see what you can see from it. And thank you for Tesh Tech.
That's just going to be. That's going to be the next Iron Banner weapon. Is the Tangled Shore, not weapon, armor. The Tangled Shore armor is going to be the next Iron Banner ornament. So
no, you were totally right. It's headbutts only for the next season. It's going to be headbutting and melees. No guns anymore.
Oh yeah, so they are weapons. It's armor and weapons. Look at that.
All in one. And our friend Not Arf wrote into us after last week saying, morning, just listening to the last episode, and you mentioned the Ikelos weapons are not available to pull from collections. This is because Bungie has changed the name of the weapons. For example, the shotgun was named the Ikelos SG version 1.01. It's now called the Ikelos SG version 1.02. They have done this with all the Ikelos weapons. Hopes this helps, Arf.
Actually, I didn't know that. So yes, it does in fact help.
So apparently, yeah, they've changed the name of it. So if you're looking at a pile of weapons going which is new and which is old, it's now an updated version with bug fixes and the same gun it probably was before.
Well, no, because you can get random rolls on them now. I got two of the Ikelos hand cannons from the dungeon with different rolls on. So yeah, and yes, they're version 2s.
It's
also
nice. It's version numbers, not just for decoration.
Reaching out to.
You're reaching out to somebody.
Not Arf. Letting me know that IshtarCollective.net is and I quote, so much better than the wikis he's using, place to get the lore from. So there's that. I did check it out. I was going to read off some this week, but Demon vetoed that. And the wiki has a lot more information on it from what I've seen so far than the Ishtar Collective does. But hey, I've only looked at it for a few minutes, so maybe they just break up Cade's life in different sections. If that's the case, we'll see. But yeah, the wiki just has his whole life from point A to death and everything in between right on there without me having to search all these different places. So we'll see whether I finish the wiki and then jump to Ishtar Collective or what. But yeah, I'm definitely taking a look at it. It's prettier, if nothing else. So thanks for that.
I think that might be it. And unless there's something else that you know that we've missed.
Negative.
I don't think so. But one of these weekends we need to jump into trials so I can add the summoner to my list of auto rifle. Because it is Revoker, Gnawing Hunger, Summoner, Felwinter's Lie.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top 4 trials weapons this week so far. So
absolutely,
it's my meta, friends. The auto rifle meta is where I excel. I can't do anything else well, but I can pour lots of bullets in a direction at one time.
Fair enough. But that involves us succeeding at any aspect of trials whatsoever.
And speaking of pointing things in the right direction, let's point this thing in the right direction and get the hell out of here.
Joe! I'm all about GT and the FO.
So that means, friends, we've opened the show, we've given you the show, and now it's time to close the show. So thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Parody and Night Demon. Your Hunter is no one responds in real life. You can email the show, and please do, at 2titansandahunter@hotmail.com. We're on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. Leave us a message on Instagram at 2titansandahunter, and we're also on Facebook at 2titansandahunter. Do you see the theme? You should see the theme. You can join the Frozen Clan at join.frozen.party. If you've joined the Frozen Clan and going, why is there no one here talking? Hit us up on Band, that's BAND.frozen.party. That's where we hang out because we're a bunch of weirdos. You can find all your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live and Respawn on PC. You can watch the show on YouTube, listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere you can find a lovely podcast to listen to. Because you should listen to ours, because it's the best one. And with that, gents, say goodbye until next week.
Deuces!
Keep calm. Everything will be fine. So apparently we're a Destiny podcast. I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Sorry, we're a what?
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard this vicious rumor going around. God, if we ever did a live show, people would be like, "Really? This is."
If we were a live show, it'd be way different than this.
They'd be thankful.
We're depending on editing right now.
They'd be thankful our shows were so short after they see what the original product looks like. Okay. I used to be angry about 3 hours, but now I'm glad you don't put out like 6-hour shows. Good job, guys.
And that was the show. Well done. Thank you very much.
All right, let's go.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week where we talk about I don't even know, Borderlands 3, Fallout 76, and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Shadow Legends.
No, it wasn't. Didn't Respawn want to create an Anthem podcast? We could do that next week.
Oh yeah.
And suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping on my chamber door. 'Tis only this and nothing more.